Verse 23. Thrice in the year shall all your men children, okay? Your men children, all right? Not the women children, appear before the Most High power, the power of Israel, okay? Verse 24. For I will cast out the nations before thee, and enlarge thy borders, right? Meaning he's going to spread our land. He's going to spread our people if we appear before the Most High power 3 times a year. What's the 3 times a year? That's the Passover, right? And the unleavened bread. That's the Feast of First Fruits, which is the Feast of Weeks, okay? And then you have the Feast of Tabernacles, all right? That's the 3 times a year. If we keep in those ordinances for the Most High, man, he's going to give us the enemy's land, man, right? Which is the so-called Canaanites from the past and the present, right? The modern day Canaanites, where we're at in this land today, okay? Verse 25. Thou shalt not offer the blood of my sacrifice with leaven, okay? That's talking about with the Passover, right? Because for the Passover, we got to have unleavened bread, right? Neither shall the sacrifice of the feast of the Passover be left onto the morning. So that means when you have your lamb, you got to eat all of your lamb, right? Verse 26. The first fruits, right? Salakia, the first of the first fruits of thy land, thou shalt bring into the house of the Most High thy power. Thou shalt not seeth a kid in his mother's milk. Okay, so, according to, Hebraic culture, when something is referred to as a kid, that's speaking about a goat. All right, that's not talking about like a literal kid, children. All right, our little ones is called children or lads. Okay, but when you have that's speaking about a goat, a baby goat, right? Or in some cases, it could be a baby lamb, but the baby lambs are called sheep. Okay, so, basically, mainly, when you speak of a kid in Hebraic culture, that's talking about a goat. It's not talking about really a calf, which is a baby cow, or a sheep, which is a baby lamb, or it's not talking about your own offspring, which is your children. Okay, it's talking about a goat. All right. So that means that you're not supposed to eat your goat, okay, and then drink the milk of the mother, which is the goat. So you're not supposed to drink the milk from the goat, right? And I was having a discussion about this too, one time. Now that I recall, we was talking about how, if we're able to eat so-called cheeseburgers, right? Which is, some beef, some red meat with, cheese. And of course, cheese is made from milk. A majority of cheese is made from milk, right? You have some cheeses out there that's made from oil, but a majority of cheese that people consume today in the society is made from milk, right? So we was talking about if we can eat cheeseburgers because, the cow, of course, have milk, right? Eats the baby calf milks. So I was saying, well, according to scripture, it says, the kid is considered a baby goat, right? It's not considered a baby cow. A baby cow is a calf, all right? A baby lamb is a sheep. Okay, so, and then, of course, your own children, which is your offspring's children, or your lads, it's not a kid. The kid is a goat. So, according to that, you can have a cheeseburger because a cheeseburger is a cow. Okay, it's beef, right? Although your goat is considered red meat too, but it's not a cow. It's not, it's not a cow. It's a goat. So as far as the cheeseburger, if it's made from cow, all right, or if it's made from a sheep, which is all classified as red meat, right? But if it's not a goat, then you can have that cheese with your beef, which is a cow, or your sheep. If you have your cheese on your lamb chops or whatever, you can do that. Okay, if you want to have some cheeseburger helper, which is made from cow, which is, beef. All right. So, and the reason why I'm breaking it down like that, because this, like I said before, any kind of red meat could be classified as beef, even horse nowadays, right? So the reason why I'm singling out cow is because when I speak of red meat, or if I mention red meat, I want you to know, or know that I'm being precise on what type of meat I'm talking about, which is a cow. So yeah, you can have your cheeseburger helper, you can have your cheeseburger because it's made with cow, or you can have your lamb, which is also classified as red meat or beef because it's red meat, but it's not a goat. So you can have your cheese with your lamb too. But when it comes to goat meat, like say if you're eating, the curry goat man, right? From your local Jamaican restaurant, you can have your goat, but you can't have that with cheese. You can't have that with milk or anything with dairy products. Okay, because it's goat. It's a kid, right? And then of course that milk is made from the mother's milk. Is goat milk, right? But it all depends on what source you got that milk from. You could probably get the milk from a cow. But there's also goat cheese out there that's made from goat milk. So you have to understand what source that cheese is coming from. So if it's coming from a cow, then chances are you could probably have that goat with the cow cheese. But me personally, I wouldn't do it because it says thou shalt not see a kid in its mother's milk, but it means in precisely its mother's milk, meaning a goat, not necessarily a cow. Okay, so if it's cow cheese, you can probably have goat meat with that cow cheese. But if it's goat cheese, you cannot have that curry goat. You can't have the curry goat, man. You can't have the curry goat with the goat cheese, man. All right. So it's very technical and complicated, but basically that's the way I can break it down to you, right? So if you didn't understand that the first time, just rewind it back and listen to it again, right? So that's what it means when it says, thou shalt not see a kid in its mother's milk. That's speaking about and some people also even said, and that sort of had me took it in a storm too, because I thought that's what it was. I thought that was talking about, breastfeeding or whatever, when it said, oh, thou shalt not see a kid in his mother's milk. So I was thinking that could be like the baby, like breastfeeding, you know what I'm saying? And then, like how some women nowadays, unfortunately, they like to breastfeed their kid or children, I should say, in public, right? So when you read something like this, you would think, wow, this is speaking about, breastfeeding. That's what it sounds like. And then we call our children kids, right? So you would normally think, okay, well, this is talking about a kid, which is a child, and which it isn't according to scripture. You would think that it's talking about a human kid or child. And then you would think that when you seeing that so-called kid, as it's written here, or child in its mother's milk, you would think that it's breastfeeding, right? But it's really not, because you have to understand the definition of what a kid truly is. A kid is a baby goat. It's not your child per se, right? So that sort of had me thrown there until I understood the true definition of what a kid is, right? So when you understand all of that, then you will start to see things more clearly, right? So that's what it means when it says, thou shalt not see a kid in its mother's milk. All right, verse 27. And the Most High Power said unto Moses, write down these words, for after the tenor of these words I have made a covenant with thee and with who? The children of Yisrael.